Hey there, Red Zone Faction.
Watch the podcast.
I don't want this to be hurtful. The SEC is still the best conference in the world.
Alright. I'm going to go cry now. Thanks for tuning in. See y'all Tuesday.
We're going to talk a little football.
Let's get it, baby.
Welcome everybody back to this week's Red Zone Faction. I'm your host, Scott Wilson. Today we're going to go over what we talked about last week. Scott came out and asked y'all some questions. Don't know if this podcast is going to go out, but we're going to do it anyway. My laptop's messing up. My truck's broke down. I mean, when it rains around here, it pours. But we're going to pass all that and stay positive and keep moving. We're going to start off with Alan. Alan, I asked you about Stedman and the quarterback competition there at Auburn. I asked you about your receivers. You kind of came back with Sean White and how he's not going to lay down and let Stedman take this job. I don't think they brought Stedman in to be a backup. I don't think he set out the year to be a backup. I think he gets that job at all costs. I don't think there's any chance in hell White wins that job. If he does, then as a Bama fan, I'm going to smile the entire time I watch him walk out there because Auburn can't win with White. And I think Malzahn knows that. I think most Auburn fans know that. They want Stedman. And Auburn's loaded at wide receiver. Travis even jumped in here and gave me the name Kyle Davis. Nate Greg Myers is going to be, Auburn's loaded at wide receiver. I do think that's one of their strong points this year. Doug, another Auburn fan, hopped in here. Stedman will be named the quarterback eventually. He came over this week and we talked a little bit about the Luck situation with Indianapolis, and we both kind of agree he better get it together. He's going to be out of there in Indianapolis. I know it's not all his fault, the injuries and with everything that's happened. His offensive line is decrepit. It's terrible. He's still a quarterback, and it still lies on him at the end of the day. Charlie. Let's get right to you, buddy. Let's move over to you real quick. We went on a 3-day rant about Colin Kaepernick. Charlie Frankenstein is the biggest Colin Kaepernick fan that I know. And I didn't know he was such a huge Colin Kaepernick fan. I didn't know this. This was news to me. If I had money, I'd send you a jersey. But then it would go back to me spending money on Colin Kaepernick, which I would never do. So I just assume pull a T-shirt out of the closet, write his name on it, draw his number on it, and send it to you in the mail. I don't even know if it's worth the cost of the postage stamp at this point. So I just don't know. Charlie's all Colin Kaepernick, and he doesn't have a job because he's black. Oppression. Dude wore a Fidel Castro t-shirt on the TV while he was answering questions. Not smart. I'm just saying. Not smart. Amongst all the other crap that he's said and done since all this is happening, I don't disagree with the stance. I disagree with his actions. It's how you do it. It's how you do it. It's not what you're doing. It's not what it's about. It's how you handle it. Done completely wrong. I'm an owner. I don't want him anywhere near my team. If I'm a head coach, I certainly don't want him on my team because when I'm held in press conferences, I want to talk about the progression of my team. I don't want to be answering questions about what he's doing over here and how the locker room's handling him over here. I don't want to hear all that crap. Okay? It's training camp. It's preseason. I want to talk about the progression of my team. I don't want all these distractions over here about everything else. I don't understand how anybody can't see that. Racist, mean old racist white owners. Okay. Stop acting stupid. You'd have a job. And if you were any good, you would have a job. You don't have a job because you suck. If you were good, you'd be on a roster somewhere. Period. Yeah, okay, he had one good year in San Francisco. Jim Harbaugh was a coach. And the defense was amazing. That defense that year was insane. They were shutting down everybody. Nobody scored on the 49ers that year. Their defense was lights out. Did they have some plays? Yeah, but it's easier to play when your defense isn't giving up any points. The other team's having to do everything they can to move the football. You're beating the hell out of them. Yeah. So, moving on. I'm not staying on that long. Charlie gave me his 4 predictions for the college football playoff. Alabama, Ohio State, USC, Louisville. Alabama, Ohio State, yes. USC, Louisville, not so much. I think USC, as always, is overrated. Even though this year, as much as they're being overrated, it's it's hard to overrate somebody when you know they're not really good, but they're going to do everything they can to overrate their butts anyway. And Louisville, I thought last year there may have been a chance. This year, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure about that right now. I don't think so. Matt also gave me his final predictions, his final 4 predictions for the college football playoff. Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Florida State. I like 3 of these. I think Alabama, Ohio State, FSU, yes. Oklahoma, maybe, because they play in such a weak conference. They could possibly get in. There's nobody from the Big 12 that sticks out to me. I guess Oklahoma would be the big dog. If they got in, I think Oklahoma would get whooped. But, I mean, I don't know. That was the question mark to me. Of all 4 of them, that was the one that stuck out to me. The other 3 obviously have a chance to get in, and I think will get in. I also asked Matt about some rotation, the rotation at Alabama's running back position. And he feels like they'll all, Damian Harris, Jacobs, and Najee and Bo will all get, they'll all be in the rotation. But he said one of the comments that he made that stuck out to me, Najee will be valuable this season and for the next 4 years. I don't think Najee's around 4 years at Alabama. If Najee's around 4 years at Alabama, something happened. He's way too talented. It's not going to happen. He's going to play 3 years here and be gone. There's no way that guy sticks around for a 4th year. No way. If he does, then something happened. This year he'll come in and he'll get some light work. Next year, I think he takes over. I also asked you about Brady, and this goes Charlie too. Charlie, if you're still listening, Charlie and Matt both agree that Brady will be around. Tom Brady will be around in New England for 3 more years. That's a bit much, I think. I can't see him sticking around for 3 more years. He could. If anybody could do it, it's him. He's very competitive. He's the best quarterback I've ever seen with my own eyes in my lifetime. I thought maybe after this year, I predicted last preseason that the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl, and he was going to ride off to the sunset. And I had one part right. They won the Super Bowl, but he didn't go anywhere. He's still there. So, and I asked also about the Garoppolo thing with Charlie. Charlie said he might not even be there week 1, and I wouldn't be at all surprised. We don't know what Belichick's going to do. We don't know what he's got up his sleeve. He could turn around and trade him or make a move or do something. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Belichick retires with Brady when they do. I think they ride off together. And also asked Matt about who takes over the running back position, who takes over that LeGarrette Blount position at running back for New England. And Mike Gillislee was his answer, and said he'll play that Blount type role. I agree. I think that Gillislee will be the touchdown machine. He'll get the goal line work. He'll get those touchdowns. I don't know if he'll get 18 or 19 like Blount did, but he'll definitely play that role. I agree with you 100%. Then there's Franklin. Franklin is my one Clemson fan in the leagues. He predicts Clemson to beat Auburn 42-28 in that second game of the season. That's funny. He 42-28. That's kind of a lopsided victory. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be like that. I don't know who's going to win the game. I don't have a dog in this fight. 42-28. Whew. Okay. I don't know. But I always like getting Franklin's perspective on things because he is the only Clemson fan of the group. I've got some ACC guys. I've got a Florida State guy. Mark's a Florida State guy. Sam's a Virginia Tech guy. I've got some ACC guys floating around, but Franklin is the only Clemson. So I like to get his perspective on things and see what he thinks. He also mentioned, I asked him if Clemson could win the ACC, and he said, yeah, Clemson could, unless Florida State beats Alabama. Then it's Florida State's. I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you there, bud, because I think Florida State could lose to Bama and still win the ACC. I think Florida State could definitely still make the playoffs. I think either one, Alabama too, if they lost this game, which is very possible. As long as it's close, I think, and I think it will be. I think a loss doesn't hurt either one of these two teams. It's week 1. You got the whole. I think the worst thing that can happen to the rest of the SEC is Alabama lose this game. And don't get me wrong, that's why I give us such a fight going into this game. We just lost our last game. You ever seen Saban lose 2 games in a row? Just saying. Mike, Michael Ohio State fan, I'll be honest with you, I can't stand Ohio State. I asked if they could go undefeated. I think Michigan should have beaten Ohio State last year outside of some bad officiating. I watched the game 4 times. I have no dog in that fight. I don't care for either team. The only reason I was bullish for Michigan is because I can't stand Ohio State. I don't like Michigan much either, though, but I respect their head coach. I think Michigan could beat Ohio State, and I think they should this year. I'll say the same thing with Penn State. Yeah, I think Penn State has a fair shot at beating Ohio State as well. So, moving on from there, Michael also gave me his Final Four prediction for the college football playoff. Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State, Oklahoma, with Penn State having an outside chance. I agree with you 100%. You got the top 3. I think everybody seems to be all over this Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State. And then there's the Oklahoma/Penn State, either one. Of course, you're Big Ten, so you're going to throw Penn State in there. And I'm going to agree with you. I think whoever wins that conference is definitely that pick over Oklahoma, actually, because the Big Ten is much better than the Big 12. Big 12 is the worst conference in all of football right now. Oh, and the Houston. I asked you about Houston. I think you're right. I think Deshaun Watson is the best thing that could have happened to Houston. That's the one thing they've been missing. Because, let's be honest, Houston is not a bad team. They haven't been a bad team. They've got one of the best defenses in the league. They have all the pieces on offense. They're just missing a quarterback. You just got quite possibly the best quarterback in this draft. If all goes well and he's coached up right, I think Deshaun Watson's lights out. I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan. I mean, being a Bama fan, I watched this guy. He destroyed us. And if he can do that to Alabama defense, I can't wait to see what he does against Jacksonville's and Tennessee and, got the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, Houston just really got a good quarterback. And I will really look forward to seeing what he does in Houston. All right, Burt. Burt says Auburn can finish anywhere from 11-1 to 7-5. It all depends on Stedman and how he plays, how he performs. If he's lights out, 11-1. If the SEC is too overwhelming, he could go 7-5, 6-6. I agree with you 100%, Burt. I think it all really depends on him. I think the defense is good enough to keep him in games. I think the defense is good enough to win him some games. So we'll see what he does and how that happens. I don't see Auburn winning less than 8 games. As much of an Auburn hater as I am, they could get to 10-2. I mean, I really truly believe that. I think they could go 10-2, and that's probably where I'm going to put them at for this year going in. But it's all really going to depend on Stedman. And it's all on him. All the weight is on him right now because the defense is going to play. They're going to be good. I know the defense will be good this year. They held it together last year. I do think Kelvin Benjamin will be the leading receiver in Carolina as well. I think Christian McCaffrey will come in and play that Sproles type, like you said. You said, watch out for Chris Samuel to be fantasy relevant. All right, we'll see about that. I'm just not sure about that right now either. That's going to be it for those questions. We're going to move on to my water bets. I put out some videos this week on both league sites about water bets. Look, it ain't no big deal. I mean, it's not. There may be a time where we're all talking about something, and if somebody is so passionate about, especially at the draft, and you say, well, my guy's going to get this many receptions, or my guy's going to throw this many touchdown passes. I may say, hey, let's take a water bet. You're man enough to do it. You're man enough to do it. It's water. If not, it's cool. It's whatever. I mean, if you're scared of water, you're going to melt. That's fine. It's whatever. I'm getting wet. If I lose, you're the one throwing the water at me. That's that. Check out those videos. I know that didn't go over so well in the tribe, which I didn't figure it would. Grumpy old men. But the Red Zone faction seems to be all about it, and that's very typical. My younger millennial league. Got the drafts coming up. Both drafts are on August 27th. The Lost Tribe of Alabama will be the first one at 2 p.m. on that Sunday, and the Red Zone faction will be later that evening at 6 o'clock. I only have one guy who's in both leagues. That's Doug. Everybody else, remember your times. August 27th, Tribe 2, Red Zone Faction 6. That's going to be it for this week's show. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Scott Wilson. Remember, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Leave the comments down below.